Hey guys, how's it going? Here is our video for our Chapter 7 end test review. Let's start here. So this one says to write the word sentence as an inequality. So when we're doing this, we want to make sure we do a couple of things. First of all, it's important that we circle or underline the important parts of each sentence. So first, we have 3 is less than or equal to 10. So what we're going to do is we are going to underline our less than or equal, because that's going to tell us our sign. So we know that our sign needs to be a less than or equal to sign. Then we know on the right hand side we have this 10, so we're going to put that over here. And then on the left side we get w minus 3. Remember, whenever we're talking about subtraction, w minus 3, whenever it is subtraction, you need to make sure that the order is in the right way. So you need to make sure that you have w minus 3. So this would be your sentence. For this bottom one here, we have a number z divided by 2 is at least 6. So I'm going to underline this at least. We know that at least is a greater than or equal to sign. Let me use a different color. It's hard to see. Because if you think about it, if I need at least $20, that means I need exactly $20 or more than $20. So that's going to be an exactly or greater than sign. Then I have this minus 6. That's going to go to the right. And then I have a number z divided by 2. Remember, whenever we're writing division from now on, we want to put our number over 2, okay? We don't use our division sign. We don't write it left to right. We put z over 2. If you don't put that, I will count off points. Our second one here says tell whether the given value is a solution of the inequality. So first we have 6t is less than 24, and it says to evaluate it when t equals 4. So I'm going to put 4 in for t. Remember, whenever I put anything in, I have to use my parentheses. And then 6 times 4 is 24. So we have 24 is less than 24. 24 is not less than 24, so we would say no solution. Make sure in your test you are saying no solution, not just no. For this middle one, we have 8x is greater than or equal to 35. I'm going to plug in 5 for my x. So I have 8 times 5 is greater than or equal to 35. 8 times 5, that will give us 40 is greater than or equal to 35. Since 40 is greater than 35, we would say solution. For our last one, let me use a different color, we have 2/3 v is less than 1/4 when v equals 3. We're going to plug in v here. Now, we really know when we're multiplying, this is 3 over 1, so 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3, less than 1/4. We know that we can reduce 6 over 3 down just to 2. And since 2 is not less than 1/4, we would say no solution again. Alright, here's our next one. This one says to graph g is less than or equal to negative 1.5. So on your test, you will have a graph that looks something like this, but it won't have any of the values. So like all these won't be here. So what you're going to have to do is figure out what to go by when you are graphing your information. Remember, on your graph, you need a 0 at some point. You also need to go up by the same thing each time. So like I said, we're not necessarily going to go up by 1 each time, and 0 does not necessarily have to be in the middle. Since I'm talking about negative numbers here, and I know I have negative 1.5, I'm actually going to put 0 right here. You know what? Let me just draw the graph up here. I'm going to put 0 right here. And then I need to make sure I use more than half my graph, so I'm going to go by 0.5. Now I know that I didn't necessarily use half my graph, but I would be okay with this, because it really only makes sense to go by 0.5s. Now if you went by 1.5s, that would be too big of a number to go by, but if you go by 0.5s, I'd be okay with that. So at negative 1.5, I'm going to put a closed dot, because this line here tells me that I need to have an underlined. This line over here tells me that I need a closed dot. And then I am going to go to the left. Remember, if you're ever confused about which way to go, just look at a number that's below where you plotted and above where you plotted. There should be negative. Just notice that. And then you're going to look at a number that's below where you plotted your point and above where you plotted your point, and then see what happens. For instance, here I would be plugging in -2 and -1 because those are on either side of my -1.5. So I would have negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 1.5. And that's true. Negative 2 is less than or equal to negative 1.5, so I put a little check mark here. If I plug in negative 1, negative 1 is not less than negative 1.5, so this wouldn't work. And your arrow always wants to go in the direction of where your check mark is, so I would need to go to the left. Alright, for this one here, we have p is greater than or equal to negative 1/4. So I'm going to draw my graph again. Remember, I don't have to put 0 in the middle. I'm actually going to put 0 here. So I wouldn't go by 4, so that's going to be a little bit too big. So I will go by something smaller, maybe something like an 1/8 or a 1/16. I'm going to go by 1/16. So my first point is negative 1/16. Then I have negative 2 16th, negative 3 16ths, negative 4 16th, and so on. But as you're doing this, simplify if you can. So negative 2 over 16, that's the same thing as negative 1 over 8. And negative 4 over 16 is the same thing as negative 1/4. So I know that I want to plot my point at negative 1/4, so that's going to be right about here. And then I know that I want to go to the right, because I want all the numbers that are greater than or equal to negative 1/4. Those are going to be all the numbers to the right. Again, just like the last one, if you didn't know that, you can plot a point above the point, below the point, see which one works, and then put the arrow in that direction. Alright, so for these ones, we need to first solve then graph, so I'm going to put my train tracks. I know that my plus 6 is bothering the F, so I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Those cross out. Now I'm left with 9 minus 6 is 3, so f is greater than or equal to 3. So I'm going to use my graph that I have here. I know that since there is this or equal to part here, that's going to be a closed dot at 3, then I know that I'm going to go to the right because I need all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 3, and all those numbers are over here. Again, if you weren't sure of that, pick a point above and below. So I would first plug in 2. 2 is not greater than or equal to 3, so I put an X here. 4 is greater than or equal to 3, so I put a check mark here, and then I always want to go towards my check mark. Alright, for this one, I need to solve first. Train tracks here. I'm going to first subtract 2/3 from both sides, because that 2/3 is bothering my variable here. So I'm left with D is less than or equal to, and now I have to do 5/6 minus 2/3. So I know that right now I can't do that because I need my common denominator. So 5/6 minus 2/3. In order to get that 2/3 to be a 6, I need to multiply by 2 on top and on bottom, which would bring me to 5/6 minus 4/6, which is 1/6. Okay? So now I have D is less than or equal to 1/6. Okay? Now when I graph that, I'm going to have my graph right here. I'm going to have my tick marks. So since I'm looking at 1/6, I'm going to put 0 right here. So I need to go up by something that's smaller than 1/6. So we're going to think of a multiple of 6 that we could go up by. So things like 1/12, 1/18, 1/24, all those will work. I'm going to go with 1/24. This is 1/24, 2/24, 3/24, 4/24, 5/24, and so on. Now the only thing, if you go this way, is simplify where you can. So 2/24 is the same thing as 1/12. 4/24 is the same thing as 1/6. Alright. We know that at 1/6, which is right here, I'm going to have a closed dot since I have that little line right here. Closed dot, and then I know the numbers that are less than or equal to 1/6, so I need to go to the left. Here's another graphing one. We have 7p is greater than or equal to 84. So when we're doing that, I am first going to divide my 7 because the 7 is being multiplied by p, so the only way to get rid of it is to divide. So that crosses out here. Now I'm just left with p on this side, then I have a greater than or equal to, and I have 84 divided by 7, which is going to be 12. I'm going to draw my graph, put my tick marks. This one's relatively easy. I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. At 12, I'm going to have a closed dot, and I need all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 12. So I'm going to head to the right. Okay. Now for this one, let's see, I have f over 3 is greater than or equal to 1/5. So I'm going to put my train tracks first. Now this is f over 3, so the only way I could get rid of a divided by 3 is to multiply by 3 on both sides. When I do that, those cross out, and I'm left with f is greater than or equal to 1/5 times 3, which is 4.5. Actually, no, that's not 4.5. One second. Let me fix that. Actually, just kidding. What I was thinking, that is 4.5. So I'll just use this graph here. I have f is greater than or equal to 4.5. So I'm going to put an open dot here. And then I need all the numbers that are greater than or equal to 4.5. So I am going to go to the right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually insert a new slide here, because I want to make sure that we know how to graph it when the variable is on the other side. So let's say we have something like c is less than 8. Okay? Well, actually, let's just make it an equation. Let's say we have, I don't know, c plus 4 is less than 12. Okay? So we know that in order to solve this, we need to subtract 4 from both sides. So those 4's cross out, and I'm left with c is less than 8. Okay, so then you're going to graph it. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So we know that we care about this 8 here. Actually, you know what? I should have changed this. Quickly change this. I'm actually going to make it 12 is less than c plus 4. Same deal though. Subtract 4 from both sides. Those cross out. 8 is less than c. Okay. So at 8, I know that I need to put an open dot because I have a less than. There's no little line underneath, so it is an open dot. Now, all the other ones that you've been dealing with have had the variable on the left side. However, this one's on the right side. So there's two things you can do. You can either flip the equation from the beginning and make it c plus 4. Let me do it in a different color. You can flip from the beginning and make it c plus 4 is greater than 12, because if you flip it, you need to flip everything, including the sign. Or you can just think about it when you get to this point here. So if it says 8 is less than c, I'm going to take a point below 8, a point above 8, and actually plug it in. So let's take 6, for example. 8 is, let's back color. Oops. 8 is less than 6. So we know that 8 is not less than 6, so we're actually going to put an x there. Okay, now let's try 10. Sorry. Oh, yeah, that's right. So I have 8 here is less than 10. I know that 8 is less than 10, so I know that this side works. And remember, like we said, we always want our arrow to go towards our check mark. So I'm going to go to the right here. So your graph would look something like this. Hopefully a little bit more neat than mine, but that's the general idea. Alright, this one says the length of a rectangle is 8 feet, and its area is less than 168 square feet. So whenever we have a word problem, we need to make sure that we are highlighting the important parts. So here we have that our area is less than. That less than is important because that is going to tell us what sign to use. We also have 168 square feet, 8 feet, right, and solve an inequality. We have all those things. So first, our sign. We need a less than sign. Then we know that that is equal to 168 square feet. Then over here, we have 8 feet. Think about it. With a rectangle, you have to multiply your length times your width. You know the length is 8, but you have no idea what the width is. So all you need to do here is represent the width with a variable. Let's call it w. So we have 8w is less than 168. To solve this, train tracks, divide by 8 on this side, divide by 8 on that side. Here, you just have w, and then on the right side, you have 21. Your sign stays the same. You don't need to graph it, so we are good to go. This concludes your review for your Chapter 7 end test. Good luck tomorrow. Study hard tonight, and I will see you later.